think one of the things that make you very attractive to a lot of people is like you talk that talk, but you also walk that walk, and you're pretty consistent across issues. You've been pushing peace, diplomacy first across the board, and that makes you one of the few Congress members that have spoken on what's happening on the Congo, right? On Twitter, and I quote, you said, "Our work towards peace also includes people experiencing violence in the Congo, where millions have been displaced at the hands of militia group violence. This terror is inexcusable. The United States must not stand by and continue deporting people into violent situations as they are now." Can you clarify for people that don't know what you were speaking about on Twitter? Because sometimes those short texts don't tell people too much information, right? And what you believe should be the role of the United States in the Congo.
Well, there's a genocide happening in the Congo, first and foremost. There's also genocide happening in Ethiopia. And there's a cycle of violence that continues in places like the Congo and many parts of the global South for several decades. And in my opinion, this is all rooted in the ramifications of European settler colonialism and Western hegemony and imperialism on the continent of Africa and around the world. And so our work as a country is to right the wrongs of history. And what I mean by that is, I mean we need to go through a process of truth, collective healing, and reparations to repair the harm that we have inflicted on African Americans here, but also the African continent. And it's not just the U.S. that's responsible, it's all of the European nations who are responsible. Because listen, very clearly, after slavery was abolished in the U.S., not only did we have the Black laws, mass lynchings, Jim Crow, redlining, and so many other things that kept Black people oppressed here in America. I mean, honestly, 1865 ended slavery, but we haven't been fully free until 1965. And some argue we're still not fully free because of the economic ramifications and mass incarceration that we're still dealing with. That's just in America. Right after slavery was abolished here, Europe colonized Africa and created an infrastructure that led to, and it's still happening today, the extraction of precious raw materials to build the economic power of Europe and Western nations. And it destabilized tribes and communities all across the continent. And you see manifestations of that continuing today with militias and others fighting each other with weapons that often come from Western nations. And so because of that history, because of our complicity in places like the Congo, we have to step in now and do everything we can to repair the harm and build infrastructure that benefits the people of Africa all over the continent, and not just implement a foreign policy that's rooted in extraction and building our own power.